In this video, we'll dive into the mysterious disappearances of 5 European tourists who were still missing in 2024. Each vanished without a trace, leaving families and investigators desperate for answers. We'll explore their last known locations, the ongoing search efforts, and the theories about what might have happened. Are these cases of foul play, accidents, or something else? Join us as we uncover the latest updates and the hopes of finding these missing individuals. It was August 30th, 2015, when Sophia Coetzee waved goodbye to her family at the Amsterdam airport. The 21-year-old Dutch medical student was going on an 8-week internship in Uganda, followed by a few weeks of travel. Her parents, excited for her adventure, looked forward to welcoming her back on November 10th, just in time for her Bachelor of Medicine diploma ceremony on November 13th. Sophia's mother, Marietje Sliekerman, even planned to visit her from October 13th to November 3rd, making her first trip to Africa. Sophia settled into a student house in Kampala, arranged by IESEC, the organization managing her internship. She enjoyed her work at Lubega Hospital, assisting with surgeries and delivering babies. Her weekly reports home were filled with enthusiasm and stories of her experiences. Her trip seemed to be going perfectly. On October 22nd, Sophia finished her internship, and the next morning left for a round trip with 3 friends. They arrived at Murchison Falls National Park on October 28th. After a boat trip on the Nile, they reached the Student Education Center around 6 p.m. As they unloaded the car, Sophia announced she was going to the toilet, a separate building a little further away. This was the last time anyone saw her. When Sophia didn't return, her friends quickly alerted the park rangers. Within 15 minutes, a search party was organized, but they found no trace of her. The search continued over the next few days, both on land and in the river. Sophia was nowhere to be found. On October 30th, Marietje arrived at Murchison Falls National Park, joining Sophia's shocked friends. Dutch embassy officials in Kampala also came to assist. They conducted searches by helicopter, on the ground, and with local search dogs. Despite these efforts, Sophia remained missing. On November 4th, a Dutch police team arrived with a drone to aid in the search. Still, there was no sign of Sophia. The pain and uncertainty were unbearable for her family. Sophia had always been adventurous and full of life, but she also had a tendency to become overstimulated under pressure, leading to insomnia and a downward spiral. Marietje worried this might have played a role in her disappearance. Years passed with no new leads. Sophia's family refused to give up hope, continuing to search and advocate for more thorough investigations. In October 2022, the former director of Uganda's Criminal Investigations Directorate, or CID, Grace Akulo, named Sophia's disappearance as one of 3 high-priority cases. This provided a glimmer of hope for her family. In 2023, the current CID director, Tom Magambo, assembled a team to reinvestigate Sophia's disappearance. The new investigation has brought some hope, but the lack of concrete answers continues to haunt Sophia's family. Marie has made 19 trips to Uganda, each one a painful reminder of her missing daughter. She carries Sophia's expired passport and a small bag of clothing, hoping for a miracle. The search has uncovered some puzzling clues. On the morning of October 30th, 2015, Ugandan Wildlife Authority, or UWA, rangers found a trail of Sophia's personal items along the riverbank. These included her water bottle, clothing, a souvenir purse, and a half-torn banknote. The placement of these items suggested possible human interference. In September 2023, the Daily Beast published a long article about Sophia's disappearance, detailing new clues and potential leads. However, some statements in the article were misleading. For instance, the term extraordinary evidence was exaggerated, and the suggestion of a suspect was premature. Despite these inaccuracies, the article sparked renewed interest in the case. Sophia's family remains persistent in their search for answers. They have shared their story through a 40-minute film on Dutch public television, which has been subtitled in English to reach a wider audience. The film has resonated with viewers, showing the mystery of Sophia's disappearance and the family's determination to find her. In their search for Sophia, her family has faced numerous challenges. The dense jungle and rough terrain of Murchison Falls National Park make search efforts difficult. Speculation about possible foul play has not been substantiated with concrete evidence. Despite these obstacles, the family remains hopeful that new leads will eventually provide the answers they seek. Marieje's determination is unwavering. She frequently travels to Uganda, maintaining contact with local authorities and investigators. The recent reinvestigation by the CID has brought some hope, but the lack of a final report leaves many questions unanswered. Marie continues to advocate for her daughter, ensuring that Sophia's story is not forgotten. On July 29, 2018, 36-year-old Tiffaine Veron, a French tourist, disappeared in Nikko, Japan. Tiffaine was an educator who worked with disabled children. She had planned this trip carefully, excited to explore Japan's culture and beauty. It wasn't her first time in Japan. She loved the country and was learning Japanese. That morning, Tiffaine had breakfast at the Turtle in Nikko, where she was staying. A Japanese tourist took a photo of her during breakfast, which became the last known image of her. She left the inn with her handbag, but left her other belongings, including her passport, in her room, suggesting she planned to return. A backpacker saw her around midday, walking alone in the forest. This was surprising because there had been a big typhoon the day before. The area, known for its forests and mountains, can be dangerous, especially after a storm. The hotel owner noticed Tiffaine's absence the next morning. Her family was informed by the French embassy on August 1st, and they quickly flew to Japan to search for her. Tiffaine had epilepsy, a condition that could cause her to faint, but she had her medication with her. Despite this, her family was very worried. Japanese authorities launched a large search operation. They used divers, drones, and teams to search the forest and river, considering the possibility of an accident. However, her family suspected something else. They faced many challenges, like language barriers and cultural differences, which made communication difficult and expensive. Complications arose when the hotel room was cleaned and re-rented before a thorough investigation could be conducted. Additionally, they faced difficulties accessing data from Tiffaine's phone. She had connected to the internet at 10:34 a.m. on the day she disappeared, but the phone company wouldn't release the location data. This delay was frustrating for the family, as this information could be crucial. There were also concerns about safety in the area. Nikko had incidents where women were assaulted by a man pretending to be a tourist guide. Despite warnings in the area, Tiffaine likely felt safe in Japan, known for being one of the safest countries. The family reached out to high-profile figures, including French President Emmanuel Macron and Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, for support. While they received promises of help, the investigation yielded little progress. The UN Committee on Enforced Disappearances criticized Japan for not cooperating fully and urged them to share more information with French authorities. Despite their efforts, including hiring private investigators and organizing awareness campaigns, no substantial leads emerged. The Tochigi Prefectural Police, treating the case as both an accident and a possible crime, deployed around 9,000 officers in the investigation, but no evidence was found. The French authorities also started their investigation, considering the possibility of kidnapping and unlawful confinement. The family continued to search for answers, organizing marches, and handing out flyers to keep the case in the public eye. French Justice Minister Éric Dupond-Moretti took charge of the investigation, showing the seriousness of the case. Yet, as time passed, no new information came to light, leaving the family and the public without answers. On June 17, 2023, Celine Creamer, a 31-year-old tourist from Belgium, went missing while hiking near Philosopher Falls in northwest Tasmania. Celine was an experienced traveler, known for her love of exploring new places and sharing her adventures online. Just a day before she was last seen, she posted a photo on Facebook of herself standing atop Mount Wellington with the caption, "Un petit diable en Tasmania," or "A little devil in Tasmania." Celine had planned to continue her trip by taking the Spirit of Tasmania ferry to Victoria on June 21st. Celine's last known location was the Philosopher Falls car park, where her white Honda CR-V, registered as E40TF, was found abandoned on June 20th. The car park is about 500 meters up an unpaved road and marks the entrance to a dense rainforest area. The Philosopher Falls track itself is a Grade 3 hiking trail, known for its challenging terrain and thick vegetation. Celine's family reported her missing after they hadn't heard from her since June 16th. Her sister Amélie made a heartfelt appeal on social media, urging anyone with information to come forward. Despite extensive search efforts by Tasmanian Police, State Emergency Services or SES, and swift water rescue teams, no trace of Celine was found. The search included ground crews, a police drone, and even a helicopter. The area is known for its rough terrain, steep cliffs, and unpredictable weather, including rain, snow, and freezing temperatures. These conditions made the search extremely difficult. The dense bushland and the complex layout of the area, with its steep ravines and overgrown paths, further complicated the search efforts. Police initially theorized that Celine might have become disoriented and wandered off the track. There were some signs that she may have gone off the beaten path, as her phone signal was last registered near an area not typically frequented by hikers. However, despite these clues, no concrete evidence of her presence was found. Even cadaver dogs, including one on loan from the New South Wales Police, were brought in to aid the search but found nothing. Celine's disappearance has left many unanswered questions. For instance, if her phone had a signal, why didn't she call for help? It's also puzzling that, despite being an experienced traveler, she didn't use tools like Google Maps to navigate back to safety. Moreover, the accuracy of the GPS signal that was supposed to pinpoint her location remains in doubt, as the nearest signal tower is quite far from the area where she was last seen. After days of searching with no results, the official search was suspended on July 10th. However, an independent searcher, who has spent extensive time in Tasmania's wilderness, continued to explore possible areas where Celine might have gone. This included the dense vegetation northeast of the track and the river areas downstream of the falls. Unfortunately, these efforts also yielded no new information. The situation has been emotionally challenging for Celine's family, who remain in Belgium. Her mother, Ariane, and sister Amélie have been actively involved in the search, coordinating with authorities and making public appeals for help. They are desperate for any information that could lead to Celine being found. As time goes on, the chances of finding Celine alive have become increasingly slim. Inspector Anthea Maingay of the Tasmanian Police stated that given the recent weather conditions, it is unlikely that anyone could survive for an extended period in the wilderness, especially without proper gear. The police have ruled out foul play, but continue to keep an open mind. Despite the official suspension of the search, the area around Philosopher Falls has been reopened to the public. However, the mystery of what happened to Celine Kremer remains unsolved. The police have assured that if new, credible information comes to light, they will reopen the search. It was March 7th, 2020, in Auckland, New Zealand. Eloy Roland, an 18-year-old student from Montpellier, France, was on a language exchange program. He had been living with a host family in Birkenhead and was known for his calm demeanor. Eloy had a love for the sea, surfing and catamarans. He was also an experienced sailing instructor and had recently developed an interest in hiking. Eloy came to New Zealand to improve his English and explore the country's natural beauty. However, his stay was about to take a mysterious turn. Eloy was last seen by his host family on the evening of March 6th. The next morning, CCTV footage captured him at Britomart Station in downtown Auckland at 6:30 a.m. He was seen catching a train to New Lynn, where he exited at Fruitvale Station at 7:26 a.m. His cell phone data later placed him in the area of Piha Road at 9:18 a.m. This was a significant distance from where he had started his trip. Eloy's disappearance was out of character. He was in regular contact with his family, speaking with them several times a week. Recently, he had become homesick and planned to return to France to study at university. His family expected him to fly back in late May, but he intended to leave earlier due to his homesickness. When he didn't return home on March 6th and his cell phone went silent the next morning, his family knew something was wrong. The initial search efforts focused on the Piha Road area. Detective Senior Sergeant Marcia Murray led a search and rescue team to conduct land-based searches in the dense bushland surrounding the road. Despite their efforts, there was no sign of Eloy. The police urged anyone in the Piha area to come forward with any information or dash camera footage from that morning. Several days after his disappearance, Eloy's social media activity showed signs of life. His accounts had new connections, and it appeared he was following the Auckland Police Facebook page, suggesting he was aware of the search efforts. However, his family and friends denied any involvement in these activities, raising questions about who could have accessed his accounts. On March 12th, a potential sighting of Eloy was reported in Te Anau, a town far from Auckland. This sighting added another layer of mystery to his disappearance. How could he have traveled such a distance without being noticed? Eloy's family, deeply worried, made a public appeal for information. They described Eloy as a kind and curious teenager who loved adventures. His parents, Catherine and Thierry Roland, were especially concerned because Eloy had never run away from home before. His sister, Aurore, who spoke with him often, found it strange that she hadn't heard from him for 3 days. In April 2020, a discovery was made. A t-shirt was found in the bush at Karakare, another area near Piha. It was forensically tested, and while it was linked to Eloy, it did not lead to any further clues. The search continued, with police and volunteers scouring the area for any sign of the missing teenager. Eloy's parents, unable to travel to New Zealand due to COVID-19 restrictions, were devastated. They appealed to the French authorities for help, and even wrote to President Emmanuel Macron. Their plea was for collaboration between French and New Zealand police to continue the search for their son. In May 2022, after over 2 years of waiting, Eloy's parents finally arrived in New Zealand, accompanied by French filmmakers documenting their search. They met with the police and visited the key locations related to Eloy's disappearance. A helicopter ride over the Waitakere Ranges gave them a better understanding of the area, but also made them question whether Eloy had ventured into the dense bush at all. Despite the efforts of the police and the support of the New Zealand public, Eloy's whereabouts remain unknown. His family continues to hold on to hope, believing that he might still be alive and well. They express their gratitude to everyone who has helped in the search and keep appealing for any information that might lead to answers. What if Eloy met with foul play? Could someone have harmed him and then used his social media accounts to mislead the investigation? What if he had an accident in the bush and remains undiscovered? Or what if he chose to disappear voluntarily, starting a new life somewhere far from the pain of homesickness? On July 7th, 2021, Michał Kozek, a 35-year-old Polish ultramarathon runner, went missing on the island of Madeira, Portugal. Michał was on vacation with his family, staying at the Savoy Saccharum Hotel in Calheta. He had planned a challenging solo run from Porto Moniz to Calheta. That evening, Michał left his wife Cristina and their 2 children at the hotel and took a taxi to Porto Moniz, a town known for its scenic views and natural pools. He was dropped off at the Porto Moniz municipal office around 7:15 p.m., intending to complete a circuit back to his hotel. However, Michał never returned, sparking a mystery that remains unsolved. After being dropped off in Porto Moniz, Michał began his run. At 8 p.m., a signal from his phone was picked up by a telecommunications mast at Pico da Urce, an area along his planned route. This was the last known activity from his phone. The next day, Michał's phone signal disappeared entirely. When he didn't return to the hotel by the expected time, Cristina grew worried and reported his disappearance to the local police in Calheta. Upon learning of his brother's disappearance, Michał's younger brother, Christopher, flew from Switzerland to Madeira to help with the search. Christopher, who had been in the region at the time of Michał's disappearance, returned specifically to assist in the search efforts. He worked closely with the local Civil Protection Office and joined search and rescue teams. Despite their extensive efforts, they found no trace of Michał. The search teams combed through the rugged terrain, but the dense forest and difficult landscape made the search challenging. Christopher's dedication was unwavering. He returned to Madeira multiple times, spending his own money on equipment and training to aid in the search. He learned rope techniques and climbing skills, essential for navigating the challenging terrain where Michał was last seen. Over time, Christopher spent more than $200,000, even taking out loans and maxing out credit cards. Despite the financial and emotional toll, he continued his efforts, hoping to find his brother. Several theories have emerged about what might have happened to Michał. The most likely scenario is that he had an accident, possibly falling in the rugged terrain. The area is known for its dangerous cliffs and dense vegetation, which could easily lead to someone getting lost or injured. Another possibility is foul play, although there is no evidence to support this. Some people speculate that Michał may have chosen to disappear voluntarily, but this seems unlikely, given his close relationship with his family and his active presence on social media. The last signal from his phone suggests he was in a specific area, but the exact location remains unknown. The possibility of an accident seems the most plausible explanation, given the circumstances and challenging nature of the terrain. Despite the lack of evidence and the passage of time, Christopher has not given up hope. He has remained committed to finding his brother, whether alive or deceased. In his heartfelt messages, Christopher expressed his determination to continue the search. He shared his belief that Michał could have gotten lost or suffered from memory loss due to an accident. He acknowledged the reality that he might only find Michał's remains, but he continued to search tirelessly. Christopher's dedication has been a source of hope and inspiration. He has made multiple trips to Madeira, each time bringing new information or equipment to aid in the search. He has also participated in other search efforts on the island, helping to find other missing persons. His efforts have not only kept the search for Michał alive, but also highlighted the importance of thorough preparation and safety precautions when exploring remote areas.